Hey everyone, it's Sue Louise here. This week we are talking all about keeping your kit COVID safe and importantly, how to work as a mobile freelance makeup artist in this post-COVID time. So recently I wrote a blog post all about the COVID safe plan that the Queensland government has announced, which we as makeup artists are bound to follow. Now the plan was specifically written for beauty therapy and nail salons here in Queensland, Australia. Obviously, if you're watching this and you're from another state in Australia or from another country, then the rules might be slightly different where you are. We are fortunate enough here in Queensland to have been allowed to go back to work this past weekend. And I did my first job yesterday and oh my gosh, it's almost like starting all over again. All the things that I had to think of in doing my work, which I've never really kind of thought about before. I've always prided myself on being a very hygienic makeup artist, but in this post-COVID world, we're taking things to a whole another level. Now, I have had a few questions from people after my last blog post and a video that I did last week talking specifically about brushes, more about my kit and how I'm applying certain products from my kit. So I wanted to run through that a little bit today as well. So the first thing is the way that I'm actually setting out my kit. So you'll see here, I'm just at home. This is just in my lounge room at home. I'm 100% mobile makeup artist, so I don't actually have a salon that I work out of. And this is not how I used to set out my kit. I used to set out my kit with all of my palettes open, everything very easy to reach. But now what we are needing to do is to keep everything closed and put away. So I'll be working more out of the bags that come out of my main makeup kit bag. I talked earlier about using a different set of brushes for each client. So this is the way that I'm carrying my brushes around now. And in each one of these Ziploc bags, I have enough brushes for one person for one makeup application. These are the basic brushes. I will have a separate bag in which I'll put a few specialty brushes just should I need them. The COVID safe plan talks about how we need to reduce the sharing of equipment and tools. So this, as makeup artists, obviously relates to our brushes. So in each bag, I have enough brushes for one person and I will be keeping them all in a plastic bag and only opening that bag when each client sits in the chair. The clean brushes, I will pop into one of these cylinders as I work, and as they become dirty, I'll pop them into another cylinder. At the end of that client's makeup application, I will take all of the brushes, dirty and clean brushes, pop them back into the plastic bag and take them home and wash every single one of them. Now, because I've been playing around with these today, I will wash these before they are used with a client. Now, the reason that I am washing the clean brushes as well as the dirty brushes is because remember that COVID can be present in the air when we're breathing, sneezing, talking, or whatever. So just to keep my kit, myself, and most importantly of all, my clients safe and healthy, all of the brushes will be being washed. So that will go home. The other thing that I have for each client is another little bag here, another little Ziploc bag. And in that bag, I will have a couple of cotton rounds, a powder puff, and I just went out and bought a whole new bunch of powder puffs. This one's still in its packaging. A wedge foundation sponge, and then some disposables. So disposable mascara wand, lip wand, and also some Q-tips or cotton tips as well. Someone asked me why keep all of the disposals in a Ziploc bag like so. If you think about it, if you're keeping your disposables in one of these cases with compartments, often when you reach in to grab one, you're actually touching a whole lot of different ones as well. So I figured it's probably a lot more safe and sanitary for my clients to actually keep them in these Ziploc bags. And then it comes to my actual products. As I mentioned, everything will be staying closed while I'm using it. So no longer will I be having all of my different eyeshadow palettes open and work directly out of them. Now, one of the biggest changes that I'm making is how I actually apply things like my eyeshadows. Gone are the days of just picking up a brush, picking up some powder, eyeshadow on the brush, applying it to the client, coming back, going into a different well, reapplying, etc., etc., etc. Now the palette will stay closed at all times, and I will actually be decanting the powders out of the palette onto my tile. This is a regular house tile. Yes, mine is a little bit broken, but it's my favorite palette. I really love using it, and I don't need that little corner anyway. So I've always used this for decanting foundations, concealers, any cream products or any liquid products that I'm using. Now I'm also using it for my powders. There are several different ways that you can choose to decant your powders. And the first way is with a stainless steel spatula. So basically, it's just a matter of taking the spatula and scraping the shadow down onto the tile. So as you can hopefully see, you collect a little bit of the product there on the tile, and you can apply it from the tile. Obviously, at the end of each client, you would wipe the tile clean and disinfect the tile, spray over it with alcohol. The same with the spatula before starting with the next client. Another way that you can choose to decant your product, and I've actually just discovered this way, and I find it's quite effective, is to use a disposable mascara wand. The only thing with the disposable mascara wand is it does actually take out more product than I expected. So you can just use that mascara wand to scrape off a little bit of the product. And you usually want to make sure that you have the angle right on the palette when you're doing this. So just use that mascara wand, just rub over the color that you're wanting, and it will fall down onto your palette. If you are doing this method with the disposable mascara wand, just make sure that you tap all of the excess powder off before you go in and scrape the next color, particularly if it's a lighter color, otherwise you're going to be muddling those up. Another method that some people have spoken to me about is using what's called a ghost, and that's where you put a cotton tip or Q-tip inside a tissue and use that to scrape off. Personally, I don't like this method very much because I find a lot of the product actually gets caught in the tissue and not so much on the palette. So that's something else that you can try if you want to know of a different method there. So that's how I'm going to be applying my powders if I need to use pressed powder. This is a great opportunity though, I think, to be using products like loose powders. And I've just recently picked up a whole bunch of these loose powder pigments from Kylie's Minerals. And she is a makeup artist based on the Gold Coast who has these, and these are vegan, cruelty-free, organic, really beautiful products. And I used them for the first time yesterday, and I've got to say I'm actually in love. So these are just loose pigment powders. They come in both matte and shimmer, but any loose pigments will work. They are obviously a much easier than scraping over your own palettes. You can just tap a little bit out from the container onto your tile as well. So just make sure that you are decanting them onto the tile. Don't apply your brush into the top of the pot there. The other question that I had was with regard to pencils. So eyeliner pencils, lip liner pencils. And what I'm going to be doing with my pencils is what I have always done. So this is a beautiful lip liner pencil from Erin Big Cosmetics. And it's simply sharpening the pencil in the pencil sharpener, obviously. And then after you've sharpened the pencil, which is what most of us do, then taking my tissue and some 70% alcohol, which I just have my alcohol in this little spray bottle, spraying the tip of the pencil and wiping it onto a tissue. So that's kind of a double whammy of making sure that that pencil is hygienic. And then of course you can also sharpen the pencil again after your client, just to make doubly sure. The other thing that you do want to do is obviously to be sanitizing your pencil sharpener in between each client as well. This is a Model Rock sharpener, so it's in one of these little covers, but just make sure that you take it out of the cover and clean it all out and spray it really well in between each client. So you may notice my beautiful floral Coles bag over here. This is what I'm calling my additional COVID safe bag. So this is a bag of goodies that I'm going to be taking along to every job with me, which I wouldn't normally have taken. So that of course is my roll of kitchen towel that I'm going to be popping underneath my workstation every time. So after each client, I will be removing the paper towel and putting fresh paper towel down. Additional capes. So I'm working on getting a spare cape for every client who sits in the chair rather than just using the same cape on everyone. So get a whole bunch more capes. It also has all my additional masks and gloves, and then of course also my Dettol disinfecting wipes, which I will be using. So one of the things in the COVID safe plan that we need to do is obviously cleaning. So we need to be cleaning all the surfaces of our area at least hourly, and then again anything that the client touches in between each client. And I'll be using these disinfecting wipes to not only wipe down my tile, my spatula and any other hard tools, but also wiping down my chair, because I carry my own chair with me. And that way I know that all my area and my surfaces are safe for each client when they come to sit down. So hopefully that's answered some of your questions about how to keep your kit safe, yourself safe, and of course your client safe as we work as mobile makeup artists in the post-COVID-19 world. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and informative, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you will know each time a new video is uploaded. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to talking to you again next time. Bye for now.